Hello everyone and welcome to the Victory Forge. In this video I take you on a journey as I made the helmet and Force Pike for one of Palpatine's Imperial guards. I made the helmet and Force Pike using my FlashForge Inventor 3D printer and various colors of Duramic 1.75mm PLA filament. I found the 3D print files for both the Force Pike and the helmet on Thingiverse and will include a link in the description below. I then cut the Force Pike into 9 pieces so it would fit on my print bed, and the pieces took a combined total of 22 hours and 15 minutes to print, and I printed them with a hollow center so I could use a steel rod to add some strength, stability, and a bit of weight to my Force Pike. With the printing finished, I removed all of the supports, did a little bit of sanding, and then started the assembly. I used an epoxy glue that would fill any of the void left in the hollow center, and then assembled the pieces from the top down to the pommel. The next stage of our journey is to begin the mammoth undertaking of printing a helmet large enough to actually fit my head. While making the helmet the first time, I saw the measurements of the pieces and thought, yes, that will be big enough. However, I had forgotten to take into account that the software was measuring to the outsides of the pieces. Thus, about 10 pieces into my first attempt at printing this helmet, it was looking a bit funky. I glued up the pieces I had and it ended up being just bigger than my head, but nowhere near big enough to get my head into it. On my second printing attempt, I was given the tip to download a 3D head, then size that file to my head so I could model the helmet to actually fit. Much better the second time around. 29 pieces later, I have all of the pieces except for the visor, which I'm going to tackle later when I can't spray paint it or find a different way how not to make a visor. All total, the second print of this Imperial Guard helmet took 107 hours and 12 minutes of print time. After sanding the print lines, leftover supports, and the edges to be glued, I used the printing and assembly map provided with the STL file to map out and begin piecing together this helmet. Starting at the crown and working my way down, I would glue and then clamp the pieces together, but I eventually abandoned the clamps because just about every surface of this helmet was a continuous curve rather than a flat piece. After all the glue was dry, I test fit the helmet, and this made me very excited. My next step was to strengthen and fill all of the gaps and seams between pieces with some hole filler. Then I sanded that smooth, cleaned it off, and covered the whole piece with hole filler so that when I sand it again, it adds some strength. There are no visible print lines, and it looks like one solid piece. After coating the entire helmet and while waiting for it to dry, I used the hole filler to the same effect with the Force Pike. Now, while I was working on these, we were having some really nice weather, so I did a lot of the work outside, and I can only imagine what the neighbors were thinking when they saw me working on this helmet. After I finished sanding and then dusting myself and the pieces off, I gave the helmet and the Force Pike a clear, matte coat primer and then started painting. I painted the helmet with a glossy candy apple red and the Force Pike with matte black accents over a titanium silver on the pike. After several layers of paint and finishing to give it an even and smooth coat, I finished the helmet with a gloss clear varnish to help protect the helmet and give it a mirror-like shine. While I was making the helmet and Force Pike part of this costume, I actually ordered a custom fit set of outer and inner robes, gloves, and boots to complete the ensemble. The robes fit really well and actually came with an executioner style hood and gloves, but they were not what I was looking for, so I got rid of them. After modifying the boots for improved comfort, I decided that the inner robes were more pink than burgundy, so I was going to have to fix that. The first step in fixing this was to wash the inner robes, and then I filled my dyeing vat up with hot water, donned my PPE, prepared my solution of dye and dish soap, and added the robes. After stirring for 30 minutes and then turning my bathroom into a scene straight out of a horror movie, the inner robes were the exact same color as when I started. Not letting this latest failure deter me, I moved on to finish the helmet by using some window tint to finish the visor. With that done, now it's time to see the final results. That's going to wrap up things for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like, leave a comment, or even subscribe so you can be sure to catch my upcoming video with more footage of me wearing the complete ensemble. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Victory Forge.